Hello, everybody. Welcome to another live show for the Tortal Universe read-along. Today we're going to be discussing book 3 in Veraldane Sarastri's series, and that is Emperor Mage. Woo! It's my favorite of the series of this.
Oh, okay.
It's my favorite of the. But I do love. I actually love all the books of this series, honestly. So, but this one is my particular favorite. So, super excited to discuss. But don't hold back criticisms if you have them. Please be honest, because I know I have nostalgia on my side. So wanted to say hello to Emily. She is here and she can spell.
I'm so glad that you didn't duck out on this one, Emily.
Yes. Me too.
I know. At this point, we just expect to see you in the comments.
Yes.
Every live stream.
We hope, and our hope is always fulfilled. All right. So, okay, Emily says this is a good one. I think this is my favorite too, but I like the ending of book 4. Yes. And there's a couple creatures, shall we say, in book 4 that are I really love. There's some creatures in book 4 that I really love, and I'm always like excited to see them again. So they're good friends. So there's a lot of things to love about book 4, and I think Dia will get some of the answers she's craving as well.
Okay.
I'm hoping it'll satisfy in that way. But yeah, this one super over the top and fun. Okay, so why don't we go ahead and get started with I guess I feel like I always forget to have you guys introduce yourselves, but do you want to do a brief introduction of your channels?
Sure.
I think at this point everybody probably knows, but
yeah,
in case there's somebody watching on replay later, Victoria, do you want to go first?
Sure. I have a channel called A Musical Bookworm. I read mostly, I feel like fantasy classics and then like a smattering of other stuff. So that's what you can find on my channel for the most part. And I read whatever Christy's reading.
Read a lot together.
We read a lot together. Yeah. That's pretty much it.
My channel is Novel Idea. It's on the screen. And let's see. I read a little bit, a lot of things. So I'm pretty diverse in what I read. So little classics, little fantasy, little sci-fi, little history sometimes, nonfiction. Just will not find horror or romance on my channel.
All right. So everybody go check out their channels and subscribe. I'm sure you already have, but just in case, channels on the screen. Yes, we do in this book. We know for sure now, like it's for sure told to us that Wirren is Dane's father. So, and we know that he's the god of hunting or the god of the hunt.
The hunt, yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. Why don't we do like a brief non-spoiler introduction for those who haven't read it, and like maybe the first 2 questions. This one and the next question will probably be mostly non-spoilery. So
okay.
Yeah, how would you guys describe this briefly in a non-spoilery way?
I would say, so we take our main character Dane and we take her further away from like her main home and everything she knows. So we're in a further away land with a new people that like the reader hasn't really seen, like kind of a new kingdom that the reader hasn't really seen before. And we finally meet some characters that we've heard about in book 1 and 2. but now we actually get to have interactions with them. And I would say book 3 had less animals, less animals, more people, more like political, religious drama.
I agree with that. Yeah. Yeah, and ever evolving power for Dane as well. There's all these new little nuances that she finds that she doesn't always enjoy.
Yes. All right. We are in the land of the kingdom that is trying to go to war with Tortal. Yes, that is correct. So I don't know if my description is spoilery, but I'll go ahead and share it. I don't think it's so. Dane is in this book accompanying a diplomatic mission to Karthak, which is this land that Emily mentions.
Yeah.
And Emperor Ozorn, who is the emperor of Karthak, has been causing trouble for years in Tortal at this point. And he's requested that Dane come along with the diplomatic mission to treat his sick birds. So we do spend some time with those birds, and we learn early on in the book, though, like in chapter 1, I think, or chapter 2 at the latest, that the gods are not happy with Karthak, and this is a terrible time to be in Karthak, basically. Like, it's a dangerous place at this point because the gods are unhappy with them. So doom is foretold early on.
Yes.
So that's kind of the setup. So what was your guys' rating overall without spoilers?
I feel like every book has kind of been around 4 stars for me. It's been like a 4-star series.
Yeah, and I think I'm about there as well. It's been 3.8, 3.9, something like that.
Ooh,
So
that's cool.
Yeah.
For me, it's 100%. There wasn't one thing I didn't love. So yeah, that's good. This is a higher ranking series than the last one for all of us.
I think I consistently enjoy the series more than Alana. With Alana, I felt like I would like really be enjoying it, and then it would like plummet, and it would kind of come back and plummet, and then I enjoyed it again. So, whereas I feel like this one's been more consistent.
Awesome. Okay, we're gonna get into spoilers now, everybody. So, what was Dane's growth arc in this book? Dia mentioned that there were some new things that Dane was learning and things like that.
I feel like she is really maturing. So it just felt like there were so many things that that she is beginning to like just get wise to. She's beginning to look at people through a different lens a little bit. She's beginning to make decisions about things with a little bit more thought and consideration. She's also looking ahead sometimes with what's happening and going, okay, but if I do this, then this is going to happen and this is going to happen. And maybe or at least I know these things are now going to happen and I have to be prepared for it, or whatever, that kind of thing, on top of the whole finding different magics that work for her, but she doesn't necessarily want. And that she can I think that she's also finding the power to be able to say, no, this isn't for me. This isn't something that I have to use. I have to wield, kind of thing. So.
Yeah, that's a good. Yeah, she's learning to say no. Yeah. How about you, Victoria? What do you think about her growth arc in this book?
Well, we definitely get some major pieces of her past that's fitting together, her parentage, and like where she's come from. How does she have these abilities? So like she's putting together more of the puzzle pieces, and so I think therefore can own her magic more, and then make those decisions of like how Dio was saying, like I don't necessarily want to lean into this element of what I can do. And yeah, to kind of like now we see her own it more rather than reacting to it, as far as like book 1, book 2, more like reacting to her abilities, and now we see her own them and even use them for like, like in the global context of what's happening in her world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes.
I agree.
She now has a global stage for her powers rather than
and like people know her and like want to involve her and help. Like the Emperor is involving her.
Yes. That's a good point. Yeah, she's requested by the Emperor of another country. Like clearly her name has more renown now. And she's still only 15. It's like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Everybody knows her though. Yes, Emily mentioned she's fully confident and no longer scared of her abilities. So that's very true. Hi, welcome. Thanks for hanging out with us. We definitely do not mind. We're glad you're here.
Absolutely.
Yes. She's seeing, yeah. I think it was interesting the situation of her like treating the Emperor's birds, for example. It's like she's able to completely maintain like moral separation from Ozorn, but she's kind of trying to figure him out during this book. Like she's like not really sure, oh, how can a guy who cares so much for his birds be bad? But then she'll see stuff and she's like, yeah, no, he's bad. But she's kind of like Dia was saying, she's maturing in that sense. Like she's not just, I don't know, trusting, I guess. Not that she trusted really quickly early on or anything, but yeah, it's like medically treating Kim Jong-un's kid or something. That's like what she's doing. It's like, of course you would do that. You would do that. Any doctor would treat anybody who's sick, but it's also like, yeah. So, thank you. Pierce said she modeled Ozorn after Ozzy.
That's funny.
Oh my goodness.
Wow. I didn't know
very interesting.
Wow. So I take it, Emily, you read the chapter, the author's note.
At the end of the book?
Yes. Please tell us anything else interesting. I cut somebody off. Sorry. Was somebody saying something?
No, I think we were both just commenting on the Osborne thing.
Okay.
That's funny because I definitely like didn't see that in my head exactly, but
he does kind of act like a rock star, honestly. I could see it.
Do you know what Ozzy Osbourne is famous for?
Oh no, I thought he was a musician. Am I wrong?
He is famous for his music, but my generation grew up knowing him for the way that he acted at concerts.
Ah.
And he literally bit the head off of bats at his concert.
I knew about that.
Yes. Emily just said it too.
Ooh, that's
so it does surprise me a little bit that he was modeled on Ozzy Osbourne, because it doesn't, I don't know, I can't imagine
doesn't hit for you
Ozorn being somebody that's going to bite the heads off of his birds, or that kind of thing. I don't know
what elements exactly of Ozzy Osbourne was she? I'm not entirely clear on that.
Yeah, exactly.
Does he, maybe the looks are the looks, maybe, because let's see, Ozorn. So now I'm like, oh, now I'm getting their names confused. Ozorn, I think he has dreads, right? did Ozzy Osbourne ever have dreads?
No, he
No.
had long, stringy
Long
hair.
Okay.
He had
But
long
it
rock
was-
star hair.
Mhm.
All I know is
Eyeliner, black eyeliner, really, really
Oh,
dark,
okay.
and dark painted fingernails all the time.
Mm. I get the eyeliner maybe I could see, but that's like not a
Really, really pale, too.
Mm. When the eye makeup and the jewelry. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so maybe she was going for like the look.
The
Yeah,
look.
okay. And
That's
not
what
the
she imagined.
personality. Okay.
Tell us anything else interesting. We want to hear it all.
Absolutely.
I know in the Alana books, I was reading the afterword like after every book, but now
Yeah.
in the Dane books, I have not because I've been afraid of spoilers ever since we found out that she spoiled something in one of the afterwards. I'll go back and read them when I'm all done.
Let's see. Okay, so I had a couple things to mention for the growth arc. First of all, she's had her first advances now from a boy, rather a man. He's in college. He's at the university, so he's a university student, Prince Kadar. So that was interesting because she didn't seem to be feeling it, honestly. Like she was like, sure, we're friends, but he was like, can't you stay? Maybe he was more interested in Kitten, honestly, than in Dane, but
Mhm.
it's mostly he wanted Kitten. But so she's had her first advances. So that was a change. And she also really does stand up for what she thinks is right to elders, to a goddess of another land. Like she says, like Dia said, she says no. And she changes the fate of Tortal because the hag wanted her to raise people from the dead. And she's like, no, we're not doing that.
Not happening.
And so like when she saves Zek, even though she was told to be on her best behavior, no, I'm diving into the river and saving Zek.
Mhm.
That was interesting. And
he was so cute. Oh my god.
I know
It's
Zek was adorable. And he plays a huge part in the plot too. Like I didn't remember all that. And then she also expresses her dislike of slavery to the prince, which I thought was really bold. But
Yeah.
they seemed to get on pretty well, so she was comfortable enough with him. But I guess she's used to being around royalty, honestly, because in Tortal she's around Queen Thiet all the time. So, but still, it was impressive to me that she would go into their house and be like, "Ew, slavery,"
Well, and when he, even at the end, when he's like becoming king, since we're in the spoilery section, and things, she's bold enough to say, this needs to be done away with. You can't continue to run things this way. I don't care how beneficial it is, and for you, it's not beneficial to them. And you can't put down one part of your kingdom. You can't build your kingdom on the backs of slavery. It's got to be done with everybody building it together.
Yes.
So,
yes.
She was bold. It was really cool.
I love that about Dane. Yeah, and speaking of that topic specifically, she addresses the difficulty of that, of like, what do you call it? You know what people call it when there's like American policies that are trying to separate the economy from China's economy? There's a term that they use. It's like disengaging or something. But the difficulties of disengaging the Carthag economy from slavery are mentioned. And it's like, yes, disengaging from evil is always really difficult and really complicated, and it's not easy, but it's like super important and necessary.
We had the same arguments in America when slavery was abolished and stuff. Just, you know, what are we going to do as plantation owners? Well, you're going to, number one, pay. If you're going to, you know, keep these people, you're going to pay them. They are going to be employees, not property. You know, just all of these different kinds of things. And he's like, you know, they won't follow me if I try to do this. And she's like, they will. Make it so they have to, you know, kind of thing. So.
All right. She said when she saw him on back to Ozzy Osbourne, he looked petulant and dangerous at the same time, and that is what she needed for Ozorn. Now I'm like, Osborne. That's his name. Hello, Count of Batesfred. Welcome. Dane is also feeling jealous of Varese. Yes. Yeah. So yeah, it seems like Dane's feelings toward Numair are also developing, maybe. And maybe also Numair's toward Dane. A little strange. She's 15. He's an adult, but at this point, they're still keeping it appropriate, let's say. But there's some depth of feeling there. And clearly others have noticed it, because Ozorn is like, this is how I can get at Numair. I can attack his student. So, yeah, that's a good point.
I did end up liking Varese, though.
Yes. Yeah, we should talk about Varese. Do I have a question about her? I might. Let me see. No, I guess I don't. Yeah, let's talk about Varese. Yeah, I feel like she got shamed a bit for being afraid when the rats leapt out of her cake and left and started like crawling all over her as she was screaming. I was like, okay, I would also scream. I would be so terrified. I would cry. Absolutely. But Alana's like throwing her shade. I'm like, okay. Judging much.
I think part of that though was the fact that she was just jealous and over her. So over her.
Yeah.
But yeah, by the end, when she kind of gets to explain herself, and the fact that, you know, this is all she wants is this. She doesn't want to do all these other things, you know. This is all I want in life. And why is it so horrible to only have this as a goal, you know?
Yes.
Kind of almost reminds me of feminism when it kind of puts down certain females that choose to do traditional role, you know, of keeping the home and making the home beautiful and you know, running things and keeping things moving in order, but it's all home. And you know, those that choose to go out into the working world then feel the need to say, you are not, you don't have the value or those kinds of things that others have. And I think that there was some of that kind of a discussion kind of with Varese.
Yes. Yeah, like what her talent and inclinations and gift, you know, her career isn't important comparative to these like women warrior types.
Right.
And
that reminds me of when she kind of did a similar thing with Alana in book 3 of Alana with the weaving, like learning how to weave.
Yes.
And Alana like totally took it for granted and that it was like a difficult skill, and she thought she was just going to be able to do it, and then she was like, oh, this is hard.
Yes. Yeah, I appreciate that she does that. I feel like Tamora Pierce is very like she's actually pretty non-judgmental about women's choices, I guess. So they don't have to be a warrior to be respected and important.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Yes. Emily liked that conversation with Dane. How she was saying she didn't want to have ambition and just wants to use her magic to make things beautiful. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, exactly. Okay. And Emily also says she spent a lot of time at the Amazon bird exhibit at her local zoo, which was what Ozorn's birds were patterned after.
Mm-hmm.
I could see that. I love that. I feel like all the world building descriptions, like of the animals and of Carthag's architecture and the style of dress of the royals, like I felt like it was very beautiful and vivid, and it really felt like its own culture, very
Mm-hmm.
different from Portal. So
Mm-hmm.
she was good at she did her research well, I felt like, for this book.
Yeah. It felt almost like Indonesian to me when I was reading it. It had a lot of the bright colors and I was picturing like the turrets and just different the little almost like candy kiss tops to towers
Yes.
and that kind of thing.
Indonesian. Interesting.
Felt like that to me anyway. Or Bali, maybe. I don't know. Just lots of color and
Yes.
bright, vivid kind of um, saturated kind of.
Mm. I feel like Zek is from an area like that. Like I feel like that makes sense for I know
Mhm.
Zek, I think Zek was not directly from Carthage, but he's from the area. And that's the type of animal I feel like would be in an area like that, maybe.
The discussion about slavery too,
Oh yeah.
I feel like crossed over into the animal kingdom part of it also, with
Mm.
the whole thing with the zoo and Zek and
Yeah.
those kinds of things. I felt like did it did something similar, in the other books, but it was really
Mhm.
kind of focused on in this one.
Yes. The rage against the cage makers. Yep. Yep. Okay, I feel like we've touched on several of the questions, so I don't know where to go next. Um, let's see. Emily mentioned slavery again, so let's look at that. I was going to say the same thing about America because even the North profited off of slavery in their cotton mills.
Mhm.
Good point. Mhm. And Emily says that's a good point about feminism. We all need to find the path that works for us. Yes, yes, exactly. Exactly.
And not put down the ones that choose a different path.
Yes. Exactly. Okay. Why don't we talk about, let's see, we were just talking about, well, let's talk about the messaging because we were just talking about slavery. Was there any other notable messaging, and how would you compare the messaging in this book compared to like Alana's messaging? Because I feel like Alana's messaging is where she got in trouble with a lot of readers.
Well, I mean, we've already talked about the slavery. What I will say though that uh, it didn't. None of it felt heavy-handed to me in this book,
Mm-hmm.
whereas it did feel heavy-handed in a couple of the Alana books.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and this one, it felt like she was showing some of um, the consequences and the outcomes of some of these issues instead of just talking about them. She
Mm-hmm.
did come back at the end and say, this, uh, with Varese, as far as, having to say, I don't want to do all of these other things. This is all I want to do. So she did have that conversation, but it still was, you could see Varese throughout the whole of the story just being happy, making everything pretty, making everybody comfortable, making everything run well, and be community focused, and just all of these other things. And then the same thing with slavery. You saw the effects on Zek. You saw the effects on the birds, being kept in the cage, and all of that. So, yeah.
How about you, Victoria? What did you think? Was there any messaging, and how is it different from Alana?
I feel like these books have all kind of had kind of a similar message, like, throughout. We have like some additions here and there of some elements that she adds, but there's definitely a strong focus on like taking care of the natural world and like humans' relationship with the natural world, including animals, like kind of animals being like the symbol of that mainly, but also like with like the land itself and taking care of the lands and making sure the animals have a safe place to live and we're not like polluting the world and making it more difficult for them to live. So I feel like all the books kind of I feel like book 2 had that really strong, and book 3 has kind of continues some of that as well. It's like more like living in harmony with both your fellow man and animals.
Yeah, I think for me, I definitely agree with what Dee was saying, that it's like, I feel like it's subtle in a lot of ways. Like, I feel like you can enjoy the books even if you don't agree with all of her messaging. But in this book, all of the messaging, I was like, yeah, I agree. Whereas in the Alana books, I didn't feel like it was hitting us over the head with a lot in the Alana books, but Alana definitely had opinions, and her goddess had opinions about women's, reproductive habits and freedoms and stuff. And because some of that grated on me, even though I didn't feel like it was, I didn't feel like it ruined the books for me, but it was, I just was like not really in alignment with that. Whereas in these books, I'm like, yes, 100%, I agree with all of these things. So even though it's subtle, I think it's really well done, but also I agree with them. So it's easier to agree with, slavery is bad, take care of animals in the natural world. And, it's easier to agree with a lot of those things because they're not particularly controversial for a lot of us.
Well, I will add, I felt like my problem with the Alana books was also that it seemed like some of those themes were just misplaced in like too young of a book.
Of an audience, yeah.
Yeah, too young of an audience, and then she would kind of go like, I don't know, I felt like she would just put her opinions on the young person reading it.
Yeah.
And
that's what I meant by heavy-handed, I think.
Yeah, like didn't leave room for discussion on it. Was just like, well, if our main protagonist feels this way, so this is how also the author feels. So it was just more obvious that way, and I just felt like misplaced with the audience.
Good point.
I think for me, Alana was a lot more tell as well. It was constantly talked about, constantly being brought up, constantly being, mulled over, rather than just being able to put Alana in a situation and have her deal with the consequences of that situation.
Mm-hmm.
It was, you know, I don't want to do this, or this should not be the case, or why does it have to be this way? You know, and it was always in a talking at you kind of thing, rather than with Dane. She's put into situations. You see how she handles them,
Yeah.
and you see how what the other characters do and how she handles that, and it gets the messaging across without
Mhm.
it being a constant word salad.
Mm-hmm.
I think that can be a testament to just her becoming a better author
Mhm.
too.
Yeah.
Like knowing how to write those things with a little more tact.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think with this series too, she set out to write this age group.
Yeah, that's definitely more obvious. Is like everything's much more age appropriate
Mhm.
in the theming and between the themes and like the tone. I just feel like it's like, okay, I can definitely qualify this as a certain age group.
Mhm.
Whereas Alana, it was a very kind of muddy sometimes of like, who are we writing to?
Mhm.
So what I'm hearing is for Alana, the problem was the target age group, and also her skill as a writer. She was like not knowing how to show things as well, which was true. Like I feel like across the board in Alana, honestly, like
Mhm.
she wasn't able to show a lot of things. Like she would just summarize it, and then a year later, you know, she's been practicing hand fighting with George, and we don't ever see her like practicing hand fighting with George. You know, we just know, oh, she did that apparently. I
Mhm.
guess. So yeah, I feel like in this series, so it's not just that I agree with the messaging more, but it's like age appropriate and more skillful. You know, she's actually showing. That makes sense. That makes sense.
Definitely.
What do you think, would this this series make good gifts for the family? Maybe depends on the age.
Yeah, it depends on the family. Yeah.
Mhm.
But I think if you have kids in the age group of, you know, like 12 to 16 in there,
Mhm.
these are fully appropriate,
Mm.
at least so far. I haven't read the fourth book yet.
Yeah.
I'm not too worried at this point.
Yay. Do you think these would get kids reading in the modern day? Like, it obviously did for my generation when we were kids, but do you think today's like modern kids, do you think these books would like get them really excited about reading?
I think they could.
Yeah, I do.
Oh,
I'm
good.
thinking about my own kids when they were in that age group, and I think even my son would have enjoyed it, even though they tend to be about the female protagonist. I
But
think
there are dinosaurs.
there are dinosaurs. There are all kinds of monsters. There are, you know, the right kind of chivalry is still in existence. You know, just all of that. So you have examples of good and evil. It's yeah, I agree.
Yay.
Mhm. Emily's
Awesome.
telling me it stays appropriate. I'm so glad.
Yeah, I would say so. There's nothing beyond like YA level in the last book that I can remember. There's maybe some discussion of things that are grown up things, but it's not happening, if you know what I
Mhm.
mean. So, um, ooh, that's great. Yes, send them our way. We would love to chat with them. Yeah, I would say this is good. I feel like it's maybe, is it YA or is it maybe upper middle grade? What do you guys think so far for the series?
I would say upper middle grade.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I feel like the last book feels more YA, but until this, because there's no like romantic relationships being discussed, it feels a little like younger
Mm-hmm.
at this point still.
Right.
Bone dancer, yes. Oh my gosh, yeah. Scary.
Oh, yeah. That was not.
So why don't we, I know that Dia has to leave in about 4 minutes. So do you want to talk about any favorite moments or things that you enjoyed, or conversely, least favorite things that were unsuccessful, things like that?
I absolutely loved the ending of this and kind of the big finale of the dinosaurs destroying everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I just loved it. It was totally my kind of battle. I don't want to hear about all of the different weapons of war and how they're being used, and the blood and guts that you see as they're being plunged into people. I don't want to hear all of that. So this was totally right up my alley as far as the battle goes. I just really had a great time with Dane, like really honing in on her own heart and being able to say, no, this is what is appropriate, or honing in and saying, I'm really angry and I'm going to get this guy, or whatever. But realizing that she is really angry, and maybe what she's doing is not the best way to be handling something. There was just so much maturity there.
Yes.
And then with the discussion with Varese, I think was one of my favorite moments. And just her being able to say, I don't always know the full story of someone or something, and I need to be more gracious, or, I need to, or just realizing, wow, I could have made a really big mistake here in not allowing her to explain things, or see what kind of a person she really is. And so there were those moments. I love the relationship with Lindhall and Numair, and I love how often they call Numair by his original name.
Yes.
Like constantly correcting them. That's not who I am any longer, kind of thing. And so yeah, there were so many moments in this that I just really loved. So
Yay.
I'm trying to think of moments I didn't love, but I can't think of any off the top of my head right now.
Yay.
So
That is really great news. Now, if you need to go, we totally understand. You can
Okay.
just sign off whenever you need to.
Okay.
So thank you for coming today.
Yes.
We really appreciate you reading with us and discussing with us. Victoria, what did you enjoy? What were your favorite moments of the series? The book.
I enjoyed a lot of the same things that Dia was talking about it. Like, I feel like it had a much more like epic ending, very like large scale ending, like kind of like a go out with a bang kind of ending. And so I enjoyed that about it. But also, like this book felt bigger and more epic, but also has a lot of the same things that I've enjoyed in book 1 and 2, like the humor is still present very much. The like there's still like a cozy middle grade tone to it, but also it's like really well balanced with like expanding the series more. Yeah, I thought it was very well. It was just really strong overall. It's a strong overall entry in the series. I loved the dinosaurs. I thought that was so like random and whimsical that we even have that element in here. Because I was like, I don't think I've ever read a fantasy that had like dinosaur bones coming to life and stuff like that. I thought that was just really fun. And it made it feel very like a kid would love that, you know, like a kid reading it would love that. So
absolutely.
Yes, if Sandra was older, he would love that.
I think he would.
If they ever made a cartoon of it, he would love it. And then Bone Dancer staying alive. Oh my gosh. So fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so for me. Oh, and Emily has some things. So oh yes, okay, when Jane sees the body in the closet, that's where she's like, oh, is Lindhall like a creeper? Like, is he, you know, evil? Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, because there's like the mystery there.
That was another thing. I liked the tension in this one. Kind of the who do we trust? Who do we don't? You know, that was fun.
I also thought the graveyard hag was an interesting character as far as like gods go. I was like, she's kind of crazy and like zany, and like you can't really take her that seriously. But she's also like a god, like the goddess. But yeah, I liked her kind of like. There's like a silly element to that.
Yeah, she made me laugh.
She's fun because she's a trickster, and some of the stuff that she does, it's like, oh, that's not something like a good goddess would do, you know? But she's also like, I don't know. It's interesting. She can be charmed by the male rulers, but she punishes them, you know, eventually, you know, if they don't continue wooing her with flowers and whatnot. Yeah, she's very a woman scorned in this book.
Yeah. I want fresh flowers every day.
Yes. Exactly. Yes, Ozorn's End was fabulous. Yes. Did you guys that was interesting, the setup with the flower with the feather from Rakash, you know, the metal feather. That was really interesting.
I love that Rakash came just to watch.
Yes.
He's like, I know what's going to happen, so I'm here for it.
Yes. Oh. Yes. You can tell when rats and hyenas are like her representatives. She's going to be a trickster or something. She's not going to be like the great mother goddess, you know? She's going to be like, yeah. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. That is so nice.
That's so kind.
Happy holidays.
Thank you so much. That's really, really nice. Yeah, they will be super happy to get your gift. I really appreciate it. Thank you. I think that's my first time getting a donation like that. Thank you so much. Okay. So, okay. What are we talking about? Wow, that just like all my thoughts are gone.
I'm going to sign out, you guys. I love you.
Okay.
Thanks for the discussion.
Yeah.
Can't wait for next month.
Yes.
Yeah, we're going to finish it out.
Yes. Awesome. Okay, I had a few more things, like favorite things I wanted to talk about. So I really loved we were talking about the hag. I really love all the signs that the hag gives to Ozorn, like shooting the statue with lightning,
Mhm.
The rats bursting out of the cake. It's all like very atmospheric, It really adds to the feeling of doom that's sort of pervading. And the statue coming to life when they're on the riverboat and everybody hearing the footsteps. Yeah.
And not subtle at all.
Not subtle at all, Even Ozorn could not have missed that. And then Zek. Oh, I meant to mention this while Dee was still here because she loves Zek too. But when Zek springs Dane from the prison with the keys, he's like, keys! He's like so proud of himself. Like riding on the back of a cheetah. Like,
that's like, yeah, that's like, this is the kind of humor and like ridiculousness that I think is just really well placed in the series.
yes.
And it just like really centers it as like for young readers.
Yes, exactly. She has the author Pierce. She has a humorous touch in the right places, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And also there's a lot of moments where you're like, I as an Enneagram 9 was like, oh, this gives me all the right vibes. all the good feels, like when Zek was like, scary with you is better than scary without you. When
Yeah, that's so sweet.
yeah, it just made my heart happy. As anxious attachment person that I am.
There was a very Alana-ish moment too, like kind of towards the beginning of the book where she's like I forget the exact context, but like she's showing them the boys that she can do archery, and they like don't believe her at the beginning, and they're like, yeah, they're like, oh, can you hit that? Yeah, right, you can't hit that. They're like, this bow is too strong for you and stuff. And then and then they like kind of just shows them like that she can do it and like way better than them. And then what I liked about it is that they immediately accept her. And like it kind of shows like they weren't just like gonna keep making fun of her just because she's a girl. Like they were like, oh, like we can change our mindset, and like and they were just treating her like one of the guys. I would it kind of showed like they can break their paradigm.
Yes.
They were like, oh, cool, and then they were just like talking to her about archery and stuff.
Yes. That's a really good point. Yeah, they showed they were flexible, and rather than feeling threatened and like, it was just they'd never seen a woman do that before because of their culture, but now they'll maybe be more open-minded about it.
It just reminded me a lot of like Alana type moments.
Definitely. Yeah, and then they were like, yeah, use our bows. Gladly. Do all the girls in your country shoot like that?
Yeah.
Let me see here. Where should we go next? How are you doing on time? What time do you need to go?
I'm okay. It sounds quiet out there, so everyone must be happy.
Okay, great. Why don't we talk about characters? Who are your favorites among the new characters, human or animal? Let me see.
The graveyard hag.
I think she was my favorite too, honestly. Although Zek, I loved.
And Zek, yeah, definitely Zek.
I agree. Graveyard hag.
I also liked Lindhall. He reminded me of who's that character in Alana books who's like he kind of becomes like the mentor father figure for Alana.
Oh yeah. Oh,
What was his name?
Miles.
Miles, yeah. So
Yeah.
Lindhall gave me strong Miles vibes.
Yes, I
Very
can see
similar
that. Thank you, Emily.
Yeah, I was like, I just could not remember his name.
Emily says she likes Lindhall, Anzek, and Kadar. Yes, I know. I would hope that, yeah, Karthak would maybe change under Kadar. But yeah, I liked Dane's thoughts about why she was destroying the whole palace. She's like, if I destroy the palace, they're going to be too busy rebuilding to cause trouble for other countries.
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably true. Kadar is going to be rebuilding for a while and hopefully focusing on the slavery issue. Decoupling, that's the term I was looking for. He's hopefully going to decouple his economy from the slave economy. So, yay! Awesome. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Oh, thanks for coming by.
Yeah, we appreciate it. I see. Okay, Emily says she sees Lindhall as more as a Gareth role for Newmare, a good friend to have on your whole side. So yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, like Lindhall was kind of like his teacher, I guess. Lindhall is, I think, yeah, older. Or maybe Gary. Are you talking about Gary? Like Gary and Alana, like friends? Or like Sir, like Garrett. So yeah, let us know. Lindahl struck me as maybe older, like Numare's professor, rather than like Numare's friend.
Yeah, right.
So okay, why don't we also talk about parallels for Karthak? Because Dio mentioned like Bali or Indonesia. Did you have any ideas like of parallels for Karthak or the plot that came to mind?
I was not really thinking that way.
Okay.
Not while I was reading. Yeah, I was not
Fine.
drawing any parallels.
Okay, so for me, it really the goddess's anger with Ozorn and the resulting size and destruction, it kind of reminded me of the plagues of Egypt a lot. That's what it really reminded me of. And then
Okay.
because their eyes, they put black under their like as eyeliner, like the Egyptians did. And the fact that nobody's gonna believe them. Like nobody believes outside of like Bible believers that the plagues actually happened. At the end it's like nobody's gonna believe that this actually happened. There's that. And then also the slave people, the Banjiku, reminded me of the Israelites. So, and then the slaves being hopefully released, like that's not what the graveyard hag was trying to get Ozorn to do, but it seems possible that they're going to be released. So there were so many parallels to that story to me that I was like,
yeah, now that you mention it, I can totally see that. I wonder if she meant that or if it was a coincidence.
yeah, I'm really curious too.
I haven't read the afterwards, so I don't know.
I know, me neither.
But yeah,
did she mention it?
Parallels, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Gary the Younger. Okay, sorry. I was thinking wrong. Okay. Gotcha. All right. For you, were there any like unsuccessful things that you wanted to mention?
Not really. I can't really think of any unsuccessful things.
Oh, that's
there was nothing. Yeah, there was nothing that like bothered me or rubbed me the wrong way.
Yay! Okay, I'm glad. I'm really glad.
Do you have anything?
Honestly, I love this book with my whole heart. There was a couple things like I wished it was a short book, right? And she did fit in like 3 signs, so to speak, of the plagues to come. But I wanted like maybe more plagues, or I don't know, more. I would have loved even more of that. But I can't really say that that's a complaint of mine because she fit quite a lot in such a short book. But I think I was just enjoying it so much that I was like, I even want more. But honestly, that's a me expectation thing. Like, that's not actually a problem that like, I think it was perfectly done, you know, but I just loved it so much that I wanted more. And then the other thing, I thought the simulacra was really heavily foreshadowed and everything, and that was all good. You know, the twist at the ending that Numer's actually alive, you know, the only, I thought all of that was done really, really well. And Dane's anger and everything, I loved all of that. My only, and it's not even really a criticism, but it felt a little lazy that Numer was like, yeah, I think I just forgot to tell you. Like,
oh, yeah.
like,
Convenience.
yeah, it's a little convenient, you know, but really it feels realistic for him that he might have just forgotten. But I thought it was going to be when Dane goes to Lindhall's office and Lindhall and Kadar and Numer are all talking together and they're like, so do you want to be in on our meeting? And Dane's like, no, I'm tired of secrets, and she leaves. I thought that was when they were going to be talking about that, you know, as I was like rereading it. But then no, I guess what they were talking about had to do with maybe the slave trade, the Underground Railroad or something. We don't actually know. But then later, like, Kadar comes to Dane and he's like, no, Numer was killed. I was like, wait, what? But doesn't he know that Numer isn't dead? And like the body that Lindhall has, like the simulacra, I thought Lindhall at least would know that, you know, Numer had a simulacra. So I guess it felt a little bit convenient, but you know what? You can't have every single thing in a book. Like, I thought it was really well done.
Yeah, I guess if you analyze it, it can be like, oh, there's a plot. There's some plot things that like wrap up kind of
Yes.
conveniently. I feel like
Yeah.
that is also kind of a middle grade thing as well.
True.
Happens a lot
True.
with middle grade kind of stories. It's like, oh, and these pieces just kind of come together in the end.
That's a really good point. That's a really, really good point. It does feel like middle grade. It really didn't take anything away from me. There were just things that I noticed. So
I would say one of the things that like kind of worried me going into book 3 was because like something that I felt like Tamora Pierce did not always do successfully from the Alana series to now is that like I feel like sometimes she just starts each book by putting her character in a very different setting with like all new cast of characters rather than the ones that you're familiar with. And so like at the beginning of the novel when we're like entering into Karthak, I was kind of like, is this gonna have like this disconnected feel that I felt because I felt super disconnected with book 3 of Alana, being set in the desert with like a completely new setting, and I just never felt like I got my bearings. It took me a long time into book 3 to get my bearings, and so with this book 3, I was like, oh no, is that gonna happen to me again? But I felt like it was more successful with this round. I think because she's still using a lot of the same like Dane's arc and her growth is like still connected, and you can see those threads from the earlier books. Whereas I felt like sometimes the next book in the series feels like, okay, new cast of characters, and like our protagonist is like kind of like almost a new character. Whereas I felt like with Dane, I feel like her development has been more consistent and gradual and trackable.
That's a good point. Yeah. I'm really glad. I'm glad that it's been more successful for you. The changes. It feels more grounded, I guess, in this book than in Alana. because even when we were talking about book 3 of Alana, it was like very surface level desert society. It was like a proto desert fantasy. It wasn't like quite developed, but I feel like Carthag is really well developed. So.
And it was like in a new place with like some new characters, but it didn't feel like a new series.
Yes. Yes, exactly. We still had Numair and Alana. Alana's been there a lot in this series, a lot more than I remember.
There a lot. I didn't expect that either. I didn't expect her to show up so much.
Yeah.
I like that she does. I like that she is there a lot. I think it's cool.
Yeah, me too. Dane can use all the friends that she can get.
And I enjoy seeing like the older Alana. Like Alana.
Yes.
I just think it's fun. I think it's a fun element.
I agree. Seeing how she has developed and whatnot. So, and that she has kids and everything. That's really fun. Yes, there is a date for book 4. Thank you for reminding me because I completely forgot. I meant to mention it earlier, but we will discuss the Realms of the Gods on January 3rd, Saturday at 10:15 a.m. So I'll put that in the chat so that y'all can mark it down. There it is. Woo. So awesome. Okay. Well, I think we only have one question left, and that is predictions for book 4. Do you have any predictions at all for the realm?
I'm pretty bad at predictions, but I didn't think about this far. Well, I'm guessing she returns to Tortal. Like we're probably leaving Carthag, I think. We're not there anymore, was what I would assume. But I don't really know. Well, I guess we're gonna find out more. I would think that the gods would play more of a part, and specifically her dad god. I would think we're gonna see a lot more of him, and like a focus around that. But that's all I got.
Good guess. Yes, I think with gods being in the title.
That's true. I wasn't even thinking that. Obviously, yeah.
Yes. Excellent. Well, we will wrap it up here. Thank you all so much for coming and for discussing.
Yeah, that's good, fun discussion.
Yes. We'll look forward to seeing you again, Emily. And always.
Yay!
Thank you. Huge thank you to Victoria and also to Tia and to Emily. And we'll see you next time.